You're watching the Juice Consumer Direct podcast. I'm Carson Poppenger here with Jacob Thorpe, our SVP Client Services, and we have a special guest today, Jesse Beal with Intelsio. Welcome, Jesse.
Good to be here. Excited.
Yeah. We love having our podcast guests where we talk about marketing and specifically performance marketing, which is a big piece that Intelsio handles, and we're eager to talk about that. Some of the projects that you've done, some case studies, just learn more a little bit about you and what you're doing, and just chat it up today. So thanks for being
vice
here.
versa. I look forward to learning a little bit more about you guys.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you joined Intelsio, how did that happen? How'd you get into the world of performance marketing?
How long have you been in performance marketing? I think years, right?
Years.
Decades.
Yeah, I'm aging myself. A long time. So I was at a company called Progression Marketing here locally. In fact, that's where Justin, I met in several that were able to join the Squeeze team. You guys got some good talent from Progression. I was there for 15 years. So I headed up their entire partnership and ultimately moved into a GM role over credit.com. We went through a few different acquisitions. And so I was there for 15 years doing performance marketing, and affiliate marketing was the sweet spot. Built out an amazing team. We grew that company to, we were doing $500 million annual in revenue. And I think we grew it to 3,800 employees. It was a fun ride. I started when there was 100 employees. I ultimately started Intelsio with a business partner of mine, Anna, and it got to the point at Progression where I was like, I'm ready for a new challenge. Mm-hmm. I'm ready for a new challenge. I think I want to do this on my own with a new agency. And we had a model that we think worked really, really well, that resonated with some of our clients that I had been consulting with. Anna, my business partner, had a similar background. She'd been doing affiliate marketing for 20 years, and we knew what agencies we didn't like. We knew what they were doing. We knew that we've had bad experiences with traditional affiliate agencies, and we're like, we know we can do this differently. And we made a commitment. I think now it's going on 5 years ago. We started Intelsio, and we are truly a performance marketing agency, an extension of our clients' brands, focused mainly on affiliate marketing. We do a variety of other things that help with performance marketing, but affiliate and partnership marketing is our sweet spot. But man, we found a niche and it works and it's been fun. And here we are 5 years in and a growing team, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, you've got a nice stable of consumer brands that you've worked with that I saw from your website. And if you want to check it out, intelsio.com, and we'll probably have the link here in the bio and everything. You can check it out in the story. And so, such a great amount of experience working directly with the brand. You were probably, tens of thousands of leads a day, I'm sure, that were coming in from different sources at Progression that you were managing and overseeing, and that size of operation. And in fact, we were chatting about this as we kicked off today, that our Rexburg office largely happened through Jesse. In a phone call, I was like, we got word that the Progression was making some changes and things like that. And I was like, wow, they have an office in Rexburg. We have people in Rexburg. We need an office in Rexburg. I bet we could make that happen. And Jesse and I talked, and you made a couple phone calls, and then, lo and behold, we ended up bringing that together, and we were able to get into that office there and hire some of the folks that worked with you up at credit.com and a few different operations there with Progression. And it's just been great. We have that location's now been open for a couple of years.
Yeah, it was a smart phone call you made. That was great.
Yeah, that was so
plug and play.
Thank you for
Of course, no, it was plug and play.
Yeah.
And I was just grateful that the timing worked out, because we were able to put a lot of good people back into a job with you guys, and I obviously knew you guys from the industry and were trusted, so I was happy to do that.
Well, many of them are on our management team now.
Yeah, right.
we got some really talented people out there and a real foothold.
Justin's one of them, handling director of training and development.
Yeah, Brenna, who helps us cut a lot of these pods, and
Brennan lives up in Coeur d'Alene now.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah, so she works remote, but
what a great spot you guys got there.
Yeah, it's been great. I think we've got something like
Wampler.
TJ. We've got like 150 agents out of that site, and that really was when that opportunity came. I remember you jumped on that so quick. We had kind of dabbled with doing an office in Rexburg, and you just kind of saw the opportunity. It is interesting. Sometimes in business, you see an opportunity, and like Carson is hey, we're going to be aggressive and we're going to go for it.
Act on it quickly.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm more like, hey, let's look at this for a second. He's like, no, we're going to get in there and we're going to fill it and we're going to hire these people. And from the time that you had that
was April. That was the 1st of April. We opened, grand opening was the 1st of June, and so it was like within 2 months we we had to like go in there and make a bunch of changes and repaint and update some of it and things like that. But that normal stuff that you would do when you take over a space and want to make it your own. But yeah, it was about 60 days in total to like get that all figured out.
And within a couple months, we had like 100 agents there.
Yeah,
I mean, like so
great
quickly.
workforce,
Yeah. Rexburg is a great location.
Great talent. Yeah. No, it was a smart move. It was a smart move for sure.
Beautiful out there too. I love going out and visiting.
Just don't go in the wintertime.
That's true.
That's right.
They just had snow. They're like, hey, we've got a ton of snow out here.
Yeah, don't go in February.
Yeah, that's rough. The roads are a little slippery.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, I went in July. I was up there.
July's great.
July's a good time.
Island Park is
good fishing, golf, Tetons, you name it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So Jesse, tell us, icebreaker stuff, I guess, but like do you want to talk about your family and things like that?
Yeah, I'd love to.
That? Yeah.
Justin was just asking.
You're a big family guy.
I was in Mexico with Justin years ago before he had kids. And he's like, I've got 4 kids now. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I've got 3. My oldest is almost 21. She's engaged. So she gets married in December 12th. So we're wedding planning. She's just trying her wedding dress on right now as we speak. So oldest daughter, BYU, sophomore, and then I've got a senior in high school, boy, Brady, and then a sophomore in high school, who Jake, and he's on the golf team.
Oh yeah.
So that's been fun. That's been fun for Harriman.
Yeah.
So I get to watch and play a lot of golf this year.
Oh yeah.
Good excuse.
That's fun. My daughter did a golf
awesome.
team. I went out and watched her play a few times. It was kind of fun.
It is fun.
Around and
these kids are so good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They hit the ball a mile now.
Well, and he just started playing golf like 2 years ago, and he's already better than me. And I'm like, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
That's frustrating, but he's good.
We played at Thanksgiving Point a couple months ago, and there was a high school sophomore from Lone Peak that shot 2 under at Thanksgiving Point.
Yeah.
And it was like he's 16.
Yeah,
so like, how in the world?
It's crazy.
How in the world? Like,
Well, they just had state last week, and I think the winner shot 15 under.
Was it that Timpview kid?
No, it was a Corner Canyon kid, I think.
Okay.
There was Corner Canyon and Lone Peak are the best.
Okay.
But they shot 14 and 15 under in 2 days.
Oh, maybe that Timpview kid's at BYU now.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun to see these kids, how good they are. So that's the fam.
Yeah. You're going to have a busy few months with the wedding plans.
Wedding coming.
Yeah.
It's fun though. It's a fun time in life.
I went through that a few years ago. My oldest, she's 23. She was married 2 years ago.
Okay.
So we went through that as well.
You know it.
And they're doing great in school.
Get some advice from you.
They're in that early life stage, and it's fun to see them sort of create their own lives and stuff. Yeah,
it is good.
Excellent.
And she's marrying somebody, a local neighborhood kid that I know. I grew up with him. I was his young men's leader.
Oh,
so I'm like, I've been vetting him for a while.
Yeah. Oh, that couldn't be better. So
that's cool.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Well, great to get to know you a little bit and learn more. So let's talk a little bit about Intelsio and some of the. And I know I saw a few case studies on your site. I recognized Byte. Byte was listed on your site. Familiar with them. We actually did some sales for someone in the space that wasn't, a competitor basically years ago. And so interesting product, sort of the Smile Club.
Yeah, Smile Direct Club.
Smile Direct Club model kind of a thing. But I think Byte's actually become even more successul than they did.
They were massive. So Byte was really our flagship client that started Intelsio. I was brought in early on.
Did you work with Paul Adams?
Oh,
then?
very close. Yeah, Paul is a good friend. Paul called me.
Yeah.
So Paul called me early on and said, hey, I think you need to be a part of this deal.
Yeah.
And that was kind of as the time I was ramping down with Progression, my role over there. And I said, I'm intrigued by this. Like, let's go to dinner. So I went to dinner with the founders, and they walked me through what they were doing. And I'm like, this sounds fun. And they said, we want you to be an advisor on our board. Yeah. And then obviously, can you help grow the affiliate program? And I said, look, that I think I can do. And so I called Anna, who I had worked with for years, but this was a good opportunity for me to bring her in because I didn't have the bandwidth to do it by myself at the time. And we established from ground zero that affiliate program, grew with Byte, and it's a pretty incredible story. I mean, there's a link out there that talks about the success of Byte, and it's truly a unicorn. But they went from zero to a $1.1 billion transaction in just over 2 years.
That's
self-funded.
crazy.
Yeah.
Self-funded organization. So we were a meaningful part of that growth.
Yeah. And I know there were challenges in that industry that they overcame because a few of the other companies didn't do so well.
That's right.
With some of the fulfillment issues.
It's
During COVID.
really,
Yeah,
it's
during
really
COVID.
hard to ramp fulfillment with a product like that, and
100%.
to get a high quality product that works,
Yeah.
and then to get it delivered with a reasonable service level.
Well, what was crucial for that growth that we really saw was COVID, because during that COVID time, we saw some of the competitors, Invisalign and Smile Direct Club, they pulled back. Everyone was nervous about marketing spend. What are the consumers going to do? Can we even do this? And we leaned in at Byte. Like, we doubled down. We found the fulfillment. We figured out how to make sure that it was safe, and ultimately, from a marketing standpoint, we got really efficient because less competitors were spending, and we doubled down on growth. And that's when really things took off. And we really took, we started getting after Smile Direct Club consumers, and then ultimately surpassed them in terms of overall growth. And so that kicked off. We added Gab Wireless, a local company. You remember Gab?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Gab was a great client of ours for like 5 years. And then ultimately, we've systematically been able to add several clients within health and beauty. We have clients in insurance. But yeah, we found a niche that worked. And Byte, I think, was a great example of us functioning as an extension of their team. Where traditional agencies, you guys have seen it, right? Where they're on a retainer and they've got 500 clients. We set out to do it differently. We're like, we want to be boutique. We want to be very, very hyper-focused and strategic with our clients. We only have right now 15, 18 clients.
Yeah.
We're very particular about who we work with, what they look like. But when we align with a client, we're in. We are an extension of their team. We get access to data, we get access to the analytics, and we commit to hitting their performance metrics. And I think when you have that alignment, which I love what you guys do, right? When you can have that alignment on performance, it changes the narrative. It changes the partnership, because it's like, look, my success is your success. What makes you successful, I want to make sure I commit to that, because you'll never leave as long as I commit to hitting your CPA, your KPI, whatever that metric is for you. And I think we've done that consistently for our clients, and our tenure is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really is the secret, and
absolutely.
And we kind of approach things a similar way where, know our ICP. These are the types of companies that we really can make a huge impact for. They have to meet this criteria and sort of look like this. But if they look like that and have that data, we can really knock it out of the park for them. And that's really what we want to do. Jacob and I were talking about this yesterday. It's like, in this business, every client that you can't, knock out of the park or become a success story ultimately can become a failure story. And we don't want failure stories,
right.
And so we really try to be particular about who we're working with. And you have that partnership, it's like a cohesion, and it's really just things get magnified. And so,
you spend so much time early on setting them up. It's like, why? Let's not do this for ultimately to fail in a few months.
Sure.
Like, how do we make sure that we are aligned all the way through that process, 100%. So that there's never a surprise?
Yeah, that's something we've been talking a lot about internally. Is I think, like, you understand this, especially from the agency perspective, that client vendor relationship can be very difficult to manage if you don't have that buy-in. But when you approach it as a partner, it becomes, what goes from adversarial, hey, you're not doing this, becomes actually like us against the problem. And you start focusing more on the problem than like the people involved with the problem. And we've been talking a lot about that with our account managers and our operations managers. Most of the people on our team grew up at Squeeze. Many of them started.
How many years since you started it?
15.
Is it 15?
16,
Okay.
Yeah.
16.
So I started on the phones 10 years ago.
Right. Okay.
2009.
Right
Yeah. I started 5 years after.
Yeah.
I started as an agent on the phone, and got a bunch of experience in different things, and kind of cut my teeth on some tough projects and learned a lot. And now we've got a team that's mostly homegrown. And one of the things that we're really trying to instill in that culture is that it's us against them. It's us, partners, team members, account managers, operations managers, tech team against the problem. It's not us against the partner.
Yeah.
Together, when there's that mutual accountability and that mutual ownership, there's this synergy that can be had when you've got it. And I love that that you mentioned, hey, you're part of their processes and you're receiving their data, and their KPIs are your North Star objectives. We call those North Star objectives. Those are the things that are like, it's not debatable. This is the target, and this
that's
is what
what's
we're shooting
important
for.
to them, right?
Exactly. So it has to be important to you.
It has to be important
and if your incentives can align with that North Star objective, then you're in a really good spot.
Yeah.
But if that North Star objective isn't the focus, then everything else you say, your voice is not as loud. Your voice is not as important because that metric isn't being met.
It's quite unique for, I think, agencies the way we do it, because there's so many of them out there that their North Star is their bottom line, right? Their bottom line in terms of how much are they charging per hour,
Their spend, their budget,
their spend or their budget, or what is my retainer? How do I get my retainer as high as possible? We don't do that. Like, we have a tiny retainer. We're performance based. Like,
I love it.
We'll figure out how to make margin between what you pay us and what we pay the affiliates, but let's align on the North Star number. And then at that point, I'm committed to that. And it's just changing that narrative. All of a sudden, our clients are like shocked when we walk them through that model. Like, wait, you really are willing to work at that? Oh, yeah, we are performance driven. We're bought in. We won't take you on unless we think we can grow.
Yeah.
But when we take you on, we're bought into that number, and we're going to figure out how to scale. And we've been able to, many clients scale to north of $1 million a month in affiliate spend because of that commitment. And sometimes it doesn't work early on, but we burden that risk. My agency does,
right? Because
I'm committed to hitting their number. And ultimately, it usually works out, and we find a fair place for growth, and it's been fun.
Well, and your attention to detail is different because of the way that that's set up too.
100%.
The service that you offer is much different. If there's a problem, you're on it because you've got skin in the game with your partners.
Isn't that mostly what the chief marketing officer wants for a brand? They're just like, we want people that are understanding and focused on our important objectives and things that are important to us, because that's something that we know about internally too. It goes internally as well because we have a lot of people. We're kind of a big people operation with what we do, but making sure that, Jacob hit on it, all the incentives sort of roll out to that objective. And, we just had a situation yesterday where we recently learned about a client's North Star objective that didn't become clear until like 4 months in. It sort of became, they finally communicated, like, this is what's important to us. And we're like, okay, then we need to realign.
And here's the data to show it.
Yeah. We're like,
well, that's good to see.
That would have been good to know.
That would have been good 3 months ago.
Absolutely. Once we know that, then we're like, we immediately pivot and we're like, here's the incentive now. Here's the new incentive, because that's what we're going to get to, and we're going to drive to that.
And I assume that happens across the org all the way down, right?
100%. So as someone who's like on the org chart, pretty close to Carson, like my incentives are tied to the performance of our company and the projects. And if they don't make money, I don't make money. So all of us, down to the agent level, have that exact same incentive structure.
So that alignment
top
is
to bottom,
org-wide.
Exactly. So everything that I do, which is interesting, everything that I do really needs to have an aim to make our agents' life better.
Yeah.
Because if our agents can be more productive and have better processes and deliver a more quality product, that's good for me.
Yeah. It
So
helps
everything we
retention
do.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
Retention, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, because our agents are really where the rubber hits the road.
Yeah.
They're the boots on the ground, and they're the product. And so everything we do, Carson's always talking about, how can we make this more efficient? How can we make our agent lives easier? Go sit with the agents. Go look at what they're doing, and that really helps us have an eye on the right things.
Yeah. It's fascinating, and I think it's exciting too, because you mentioned a lot of other agencies kind of look at things differently, and I think what you're doing is unique and definitely the reason for a lot of your success that you have. And so, any other case studies that you want to showcase or talk about, or things that like maybe it would be interesting for our listeners to hear about?
So Bite was a good one that we figured out kind of that model that worked. And I think since we've been able to go at it in a very similar approach of performance, align with the right brand, make sure that we're key with our clients. We say no more than we say yes to clients. And which is, again, it's odd when you pitch a client and you're like, you know what? We're going to pass. This is not the right fit.
That's the same for us.
They're shocked. Like
1 out of 10.
You said no. They almost respect it.
Yeah.
Like last week I had a call and we're like, this isn't the right fit. We're not going to be the right fit for you. They appreciate it, right? Yeah. Because we want to make sure that alignment is
maybe
there.
some recommendations you tie in with that, where you're like, hey, you should look to do this, and this.
You're a better fit to go over this path.
Or maybe pilot this and then come back and let's revisit, or something.
But the last thing I want to do is bring you on and then 2 months you're happy or not, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And so I would say from a case study perspective, we've had clients across multiple different categories. And what I've found is that our approach is agnostic to vertical or industry. It works pretty much with anyone that has a KPI in mind, which all companies do, of growth marketing. How do we make sure that we acquire new customers at our allowable cost per acquisition or customer acquisition cost, CAC? And how do I tap into a new channel? I'm exhausting paid search. I'm exhausting paid social. I'm exhausting native and TV. I need more growth, and that's where they come to us.
Yeah.
And many of our clients just don't understand affiliate marketing. It's got a bad stigma, unfortunately, and rightfully so. There's some bad affiliates out there, but when you can do affiliate marketing the right way, you tap into a new marketing channel that is meaningful and can be significant, and oftentimes can come in right at your CAC target, but taps into new audiences that you're not able to tap internally. And I think what we've been able to do for we've got clients in hearing aids and women's health and weight loss. I've got a local client called Shed, which does weight loss injections, right? We've been able to really tap into our strategic affiliate partnerships, hitting their CAC targets and finding meaningful scale. And when you can do that, as long as the brand has budget, has capital, we don't get budget issues, right? Previous agencies, when you're on a retainer, it's like, all right, you have $30,000 to spend.
Yeah.
When we outline our model, most of our clients will come to us and say, you have unlimited budget.
If you're hitting this number,
yes,
press the pedal down.
If you're hitting this number, which we all commit to, you have green light to spend. That's what gets us excited because it allows us to scale a lot faster. And so, we've been able to find that scale way more faster than we would have been able to find by going the traditional retainer route.
That makes sense.
I'll have to introduce you to a friend of mine. He has a compound pharmacy. They've done, they're 9 figures, something like that. Like high mid 9 figures in their annual sales, but I don't think they have any consumer direct. And
interesting. Are they doing like weight loss and TRT?
Yeah, and they work with clinics, and so the clinics are the ones that are pushing it. So I don't know if there's an opportunity there, but he has expressed interest in doing consumer direct stuff, but I don't think they know how to approach it. And I've talked to him about, he's asked about our ability to help with it. I'm like, really, we can only get involved if they have a really good, solid digital.
They've got your piece.
Campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to have the marketing piece. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to him. Yeah, telehealth, health, beauty has been our sweet spot. So I'm happy to have the conversation because I'm sure he's doing testosterone. I'm sure he's doing weight loss injections. That's hot right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone and their mom's on that stuff. So how do we support it? How do we market it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a hot product.
It is,
and that's great. I mean, I have other groups that I've worked with and know about that are. I was thinking about Harmon Brothers. So as I trip through my thoughts here, Harmon Brothers. Do you know those guys?
I don't.
Oh, you don't. They're a performance agency, but their whole approach is video. So like they were the ones behind the original Purple videos.
Oh yeah.
They did. One of the smokers, I think
Traeger.
I think they're actually working with Traeger right now. They've done Traeger, they've done Purple, they've done a bunch of consumer products that they promote through YouTube, and they do funny and entertaining video content, and then they drive people into digital sale that way. But they don't have necessarily the experience with like the forms and consultative type sales lead generation, and that's where you're sort of setting yourself apart. And I think it'd be interesting to see how both those interact together.
Marketing's changing. The way we market to consumers is rapidly changing. Obviously, with AI, you're starting to see how that's becoming a bigger factor. But just in general, no longer TV, radio are the go-to, right? You're starting to see, Snapchat and influencers becoming a much more
is completely different.
It's completely different.
ChatGPT is now, hey, tell me the top 5. Well, how do you get your name, your company listed as one of the top 5 on ChatGPT? And that's completely a new territory for a lot of consumer direct brands.
Yeah, no, it is. It's completely changing the way consumers.
Well, search is moving there.
Search is moving there. You have to. You have to stay ahead of it, right? We have to stay ahead of the curve, and we've been able to effectively do that. And I think the good news is we work with affiliates who are probably do it better than most brands, right? Because that's their job.
Yeah.
So they stay ahead of the curve. They know how to find the consumers when they're in the purchasing funnel and how to make sure that they're tapping into the right creative, the right landing page, the right funnel to take a consumer down that purchase path.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to align with good, solid affiliates that do that.
So when your affiliates are generating or are creating these leads or putting them down the purchase path, is it usually with the aim to transact and actually purchase a product, or is it to generate a lead, or is it to schedule an appointment? Because obviously you're doing this in a bunch of different verticals.
Yeah.
What does that
Great
look
question.
like?
I think each one of our clients is different. Most of the time, it's to purchase a product. We have a lot of e-commerce clients, right? So how do we get a consumer to click into the funnel and to convert by purchasing something, albeit a weight loss injection or a hearing aid or whatever that be. But we do have some clients that do leads, or we do a lot of call marketing, right? So we have clients that are in legal, where we'll drive a client that's been involved in a motor vehicle accident. So we pre-qualify them through an IVR, and then we live transfer them into our buyers. But whatever that KPI is important to our buyer, we'll make sure that we hit that metric. But it's usually a lead, a call, or a purchase.
Yeah. Interesting.
And that performance, our commitment to them is that we will hit their target CPA for whatever that metric is.
When you get into these calls with these clients and you're like your first call that you're having with them, you're kicking it off.
Yeah.
What are the things you do to help them feel confident and trusting in you? Like what are the things, what's the approach that you take as you're doing that?
That's a great question. Literally an hour ago, we just had a kickoff call with a client called WISP, Women's Health Company. So we had our entire team on, and he was overwhelmed because it was like, he was coming from an agency that they hadn't had a good experience.
Yeah.
And that often happens, right?
Yep.
So we overwhelmed him with the team of like, this is the support that we have. We have our partner team. We have our tech team. We have our executive team on this call. So I think first and foremost, like show them the support immediately that who is representing their brand. This is the team that's going to go out and represent your brand, which is personal to him, right? He started the company. So it's personal to him. We're going to take it personal as we go out and represent. And then really immediately outlining what our commitment is to him and to the brand. What is our commitment to his numbers, to his growth, to his forecast? What is the commitment to quality? And what is the commitment to making sure that he looks good? How do we make sure that he looks good to his board, right? And I think when we do that, especially early on, we set the tone of what's to be, what should he expect from our agency? You're going to get a weekly phone call. You're going to get commitment from a pipeline perspective. You're going to get approval on everything that we do. But then let us go operate. Let us go do what we do best. And this is what it looks like. And at that point, typically the client's like, look, thank heavens, just go do it. We're aligned on the KPI. We're aligned on the economics. You've got the budget. Go do it. Go do what you do best. And then, we're here to support. I'm curious.
I think it's a great approach. Yeah.
I'm curious what you guys do. Is that similar to what you do when you bring on a new client?
Jacob leads a lot of those calls now today. So what are your thoughts, Jacob?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I'd say is these people have been pitched a bunch of times so they can tell when you're blowing smoke. So I think being real and authentic is super important.
Yeah.
I like having a presence, I think is really important, but I think coming prepared with a plan that you can communicate clearly is really important. Taking the time to do your research, taking the time to understand their metrics, to understand their funnel. It's interesting. Sometimes you get on these calls and the expectation is that the partner knows exactly what they want to do and how they want to do it. And more often than not, that's not the case. And they're leaning on us as the experts to help educate them in a way that's collaborative, not dogmatic, but collaborative, and say, hey, this is what I've seen work. These are the best recommendations. This is what I think that we should do. And this is the blueprint that kind of the game plan that I have. And I found that as I do that, and then we start executing on it very quickly in the implementation stage, which is so key to have a great
Early
implementation
success.
process.
Yeah.
Yep. And to have early wins, day 1, day 2, day 3. And to promote those wins, you start to gain that trust. The thing that's interesting though is, you can lose that trust very, very quickly if you don't deliver on what you say you're going to.
Yeah.
And that's why, your partnership team and your fulfillment team all have to be in lockstep.
Well, you got to set proper expectations early on,
Right.
right? You don't want to overpromise.
Right.
And I think setting those expectations is crucial early on of like, look, I know you want it tomorrow. This is realistically what the timeline looks like, but let us do our thing and trust that this is the right process.
Yeah.
We need the infrastructure in place in order to do that. But I love that what you said. We ask a lot of questions.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Consultative.
Consultative. Like, tell me about tell me what's worked.
Yeah.
What hasn't worked. Where, like, what keeps you up at night? Like, where are you struggling with?
Where
right
do you
now?
see yourself? One of my favorites is, if this goes well, where do you see yourself in 6 months,
Yeah,
1 year,
yeah.
3 years? How does your sales organization look
So
different?
much you learn from those
Yeah.
questions of, all right, I need to help them there. Or,
Yep.
this is an area they've already done. I'll let them focus on that.
I've seen Jacob function in those. I was thinking, you were kind of talking about an onboarding call almost. And I was thinking back to like when you're first sort of meeting them and, getting introduced and you have that initial call. Jacob does a really great job of just asking lots of great questions. And through the questions that we ask and the thought behind them and, the things that we're asking, the client, most of the time, that establishes a ton of credibility because they're like, oh, these guys and gals know exactly what they're asking the right questions.
right.
They're asking things that we either have thought about or know about or we're looking at or things that we haven't thought about. And that alone right there, that's the pitch.
Yeah.
Like the pitch, nobody wants to be pitched. Like you come in and you're like, oh, we're the best. We're really, really good at this or whatever. Like that's just like smoke. That just doesn't say a lot. But when they have an engaging conversation and they know that you're interested in learning and you're asking the right questions, that really is what gets the deal done. I think.
Resonates, when you can become an expert. It's quite awkward lately. I've got a lot of women's products. So I've got hormone replacement therapy and women's sexual health. And we just signed a lingerie client. So my wife is in the other room hearing me become an expert on some of these categories. But, it means a lot when you can go on a phone call and speak to women's hormone replacement therapy. Hey, I was reading an article last night.
Yeah.
How about this approach?
Sure.
It's kind of fun to learn a little bit more about this stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the things that for me has been awesome too with the relationship that we have is we work with thought leaders in a lot of these industries and we can learn from them and become much more well-versed in the different strategies that are working.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really try to lean into as well. I think understanding like the best practices, like, no, this is what the best are doing. Like this is table stakes now. You've got to have this approach. But having that quiet competence without trying to, or the quiet competence and confidence.
Sure.
Without pitching or trying to
Right.
sell or
Without
selling.
overselling.
I think the client should be talking 80% of the time.
Yep.
You should be talking about 20% of the time. And when you are talking, it should be mostly questions.
Yep.
You want to tie a bow on the last thought and transition. Yeah. But should be just questions, taking notes, kind of preparing that game plan that in onboarding you're going to present. And yeah, Carson, you're exactly right. You're auditioning on those first calls and they are making judgments on your competency and the way that you communicate and that deliberate communication and the deliberate execution of that game plan. They're making judgments about the value. And if you're not doing that well, they'll never see you as a counterpart, but they'll see you as a vendor. And
what
that's
you really want to avoid is, would be, in my opinion, that the pitching can generally result in a lot of high expectations that are being set without even truly understanding, what the bar is and what needs to be done. And the moment you set expectations without really understanding the client's needs or problems and maybe how challenging it's going to be, you're setting pricing or you're out there just telling me, this is the price or whatever. Or here are the expectations. We're going to knock this out of the park. We're going to deliver a 25% increase on this and this and this. We're always very tempered in expectations, especially early on. But we also leave it open where we can say, we would estimate based on this, this, and this that we would expect it to be about here. But we'll be adjusting as we get into this, and we want to make sure we.
Well, I think they appreciate that transparency. Like,
Exactly.
look, I don't know exactly where we'll be. I can commit a few things to you, but sometimes numbers or growth is not something that they need that commitment. And sometimes we feel like we need to oversell and beat the current agency. It's like, no, like just be transparent, lean in on what you do best. And they'll know.
Yeah.
They'll tell if you're the right agency for them or not.
Yeah, and I do think that there is danger in putting numbers out there, but when you know your stuff and you get it right, like you've seen that on calls, you're probably at this numbers, right? You know, those sorts of things.
We've seen
it's
enough
powerful.
we've seen enough different kinds of lead sources. That's sort of what it comes down to us for us is, knowing like this is the channel, this is the funnel and how the consumers are interacting before they get to us. We would expect those to contact at about this rate and convert at about this rate. But that's really, those are the things that we think about, which go into the decision of, this is a fit or not a fit too. So,
we turn down a lot more than we work with for that reason. We're not always a good fit. In fact, we recently had a massive, massive company come to us and they were willing to really give us a big budget. And we met internally and I remember talking to Carson, I'm like, I don't feel like we're the right fit for this. Yeah. Like I want this logo really bad. It's going to look
revenue,
great.
Yeah.
It's going to feel really good to land this logo, but you only get one shot at it. And if we're going to,
it's so true, right?
You only get one shot at it. And if we don't do it right this time, we'll never have another shot. So let's
It'll
refer
do more
this to a
harm
partner.
if you brought them on and it didn't work.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
Even from a reputation perspective as well. So we made the determination to refer that to a partner that we trust and they're having a great experience with them. But sometimes it's hard to do, but it's when it's the right thing to do for the partner, they value that too.
You know your strengths and where you're going to struggle. And the last thing I want to do is struggle with a client or not deliver, and that goes into like, you talk about like your brand for Intelsio and our brand. It's like, it's your reputation. It's your ability to deliver and you don't want to tarnish that. You don't want to damage that with, negative experiences or so it could be you can't deliver on it's beyond your control. It's beyond possible for the team that you have, but there's people that can do it. Let's refer you out to them. Right. Let's help you.
Well, we need to set our team up for success, right?
Yeah.
We're out there representing and selling,
sure,
but we got to set up our employees for success. And when we bring on a bad deal that doesn't work, we're doing them a disservice.
Oh yeah.
Like let's just set them up for success, bring the right campaign in so they're bought in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like I love that approach, that kind of extreme ownership. Hey, it didn't go well. That something went wrong with my decision making or with the way that I position this. But I think when you're signing your name on it, it needs to be done the right way.
That's right.
That's really important to us.
Well, Jesse, it's been a pleasure to have you on here.
Great.
You, I mean, I love your energy. I mean, your energy is infectious. I got to say.
I want to keep talking.
I know.
Are we done? Are we at time?
I think
we'll do another one.
I'd love to have other topics.
I've got so many thoughts on this.
We'd love to have you come back and
we'd love
chat
to.
some more.
Yeah, we'd love to.
And any parting thoughts or final things? Maybe something that you want to communicate that you didn't have an opportunity.
No, I appreciate this opportunity. I mean, like you said, these brands are personal to us, and this company's personal to you. And I'm grateful to live in a place that we can do this for a living and have fun and work with clients that are offering cool services or cool products to our consumers. So if you're interested, if you've got a brand that is looking for affiliate growth, that's our sweet spot. But we'd love to lean in more with you guys as well to see how we can work together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Where can people find you, Jesse? Like LinkedIn, website?
Yeah, LinkedIn, Jesse Beal, or you can go on to www.intelsio.com, INTELSIO.com, and there's a contact form right there that outlines a little bit more about what we do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
We'll throw a link too in the description.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
On the Spotify and Apple.
Okay.
So thanks for watching The Juice.
Hey, thank you. If you have questions, comments, please leave them below. We'll get to them. Have a great day.
Thanks.